And welcome to Rauta's SYNTHWAVE reviews. This time it's Non-Metal Sunday. And once again I'm bringing you one of those electronic purification records releases. This one is Powernerd. To be honest, I was originally mistaking the name for the title here, Testosterossa. What a nice wordplay. But in fact this is a Powernerd release featuring Vendigo and Testosterossa. Mistakes were made and all that stuff, but I'm here to correct my own ones as well. So this one is a vinyl reissue of the band's releases, and what can be said about it is features. Here be the read. 5 tracks of Testosterossa, side A, and side B, more tracks under the name of Vendigo. So all in all, 10 tracks of synthwave. Now there are lots of these kind of outrun synthwave, retro wave, cyberpunk wave, crime wave, whatever kind of a synthesizer music waves we're talking about in various ways nowadays. I mean, after all, it started pretty much like 10 years ago. The trend has been more and more pacing up with various kinds of synthwave albums. Much like nowadays dance and synth music, which is a kind of its own genre of synthesizer music, there are various styles with synthwave as well. And this curious case is more of the danceable sorts, if you will. That is, maybe a lot of you have been familiar with bands like, or artists like Carpenter Brut and the like, which are now more of a commercial success. Some of you might have found some of the darker aspects, sometimes very cyberpunk style of synthwave ones, and then there are these more danceable ones. Some of them are once again having the kind of Giorgio Moroder vibes, or Mr. Hammer, who created music for Miami Vice and the likes. So if you go back to 1980s, you are most likely familiar with some of the TV show or movie soundtrack featuring synthwave music. But this new wave of retro wave, lots of waves really, it's very, very different school, yet at the same time it's creating this kind of a fake nostalgia. And by that I mean something that I've been repeating here myself to the ad nauseum, is that you really don't have the real nostalgia. After all, these kind of albums were not released earlier on at 1980s, so even if I would go back to my childhood, I would have no recollection whatsoever of albums such as this, because they didn't really exist. But listening to this kind of music kind of takes me back to the decades where there were lots of neon lights, fast cars, small bikinis and all that stuff. Can't really complain about those images in my head getting right now, especially as it's, cold and wintry like images out there, freezing my ass off in the snow. So getting all that feeling towards Miami beaches and whatever, well, that could be a lot worse. But that's enough nonsense on my behalf. It's time to talk about the music of Powernerd, what kind of synthesizer or synthwave music this is. Now, when I say this is more danceable sorts, I really mean it. There are lots of these kind of upbeat moments when you feel like, yeah, this is gonna move my legs automatically. Not only that, but this is not fully instrumental as so many other synthwave artists right there are. I mean, they kind of create those fantastic atmospheric parts where you have those speedboats racing in your head, or at least in your imagination, along the beach lines, and you have all that, well, Miami Vice kind of a feeling, be it nocturnal or daytime activities. But then there are artists such as Powernerd, which especially on this one, they are having kind of tunes that are more danceable, partially because of the vocals, they're beautiful female and male vocals present, and that then again creates this more kind of a disco feeling. Now that might sound to some people anyway, kind of like a swearing word. I mean, especially if you're coming from metal background as I am. But then again, if you really think about it, there is no more genuine way, even if it's not genuine in the real 1980s way, to go back to that era, except to think about those nightclubs and discos and places like that where colors such as, vivid as this one or that one are very much present. And then you have those places where people are probably enjoying some illegal narcotics while dancing to the very small hours of the day or whatever. And that's exactly the forte of Powernerd's music on this double recording, because the thing here is they are more kind of approachable in the sense of being synthesizer music, because they are in fact more danceable. So they have these beats, they have vocals, but it's not like the only thing they have. So instead of being this kind of a one-trick pony, they are actually offering a multitude of different approaches to certain kind of a synthwave. But it's definitely different to those fully instrumental ones, which are more focusing on the kind of a dynamic feeling without lyrics included, without those dominating beats, and more about creating soundscapes, if you will. So while not definitely for everybody, I would still say this is on the better end of synthwave recordings. Not exactly my favorite. I kind of like it without, vocals present, much like I do enjoy my dark ambient ones. But there's something which really gets me to the right mood when I'm listening to this one. So this is a very, very interesting release. And in case you just happen to be a vinyl fanatic and happen to like synthwave, there's no reason to skip this one. Go check out some of the samples. I will include some links in the description box so you can just check it out by yourself, or maybe you visit Powernerd's Bandcamp site for some other samples of their other releases. Be it as may, go check it out and get your dance boots ready. It's time to listen to some 1980s stuff. Well, kind of. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you soon on more reviews coming away.